Minasan konnichiwa and welcome to the Gogo Nihon live show. My name is Davide and we are here in the Gogo Nihon office. We are streaming from, actually I would say, in the Gogo Nihon office today. It's about 5 p.m. in Tokyo and we are ready for a new Ask Me Anything session with me. So first of all, once more, let me introduce a little bit. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Gogo Nihon. What is most important for you is not what I'm doing now, but I was a student like you 9 years ago when I decided to come to Japan and study Japanese. 9 years ago, there was no service like Gogo Nihon. At that time, it was really difficult for me to look for a language school, understand which accommodation would have been better. And at that time, I really struggled to decide where to apply and how to apply. After that, based on my experience, I decided to start a service called Gogo Nihon 8 years ago. And in the last 8 years, we really helped a lot of students. And I would like to share my experience with you. I would like to empower you guys to take better decisions for what concerns living and studying in Japan. That's why we decided to start this Ask Me Anything session. From now on, I encourage you to ask me any questions. I have my mobile here, so I can check Facebook. We are live on Facebook and also YouTube. We are also live on YouTube and Instagram. So if you guys are watching us and you want to know anything about living and studying in Japan, please let me know and I'll make sure that I get back to you. So I want to also say that today we will have some guests around 5:30, so in 30 minutes from now. We will welcome two of our winter course students. So winter course is a 3 weeks course. It's just ended a few days ago, and it's a different way to experience Japan. Instead of just traveling around the country, you can also learn the language in the morning and doing activities with people from all over the world. So you will have the chance also to ask two students that have spent the last 3 weeks in Japan in our winter course. And also Tyler, one long-term student, so he's studying long-term in Japan, and also he found a part-time job and he's gonna share his living in Japan has changed his life. So you will have the chance to ask questions to them in about 30 minutes. But first of all, let me start answering your question. There were already actually 3 questions that were asked on YouTube before this live. So I would like to read those questions and start from there. While you guys can write any question you want on our Facebook and YouTube. So first question was from Harsh Stanley. To be able to study either vocational or university, is there a need of a diploma or transfer credit from country of origin? And does the student visa determine how many months or year one can stay in Japan? So first of all, let me start from the second question, which is more easy to reply. When you get a student visa, on the student visa, a length. So you can receive a 1-year student visa, 1 year and 3 months, 2 months, 2-year student visa, or even the shortest is 6 months actually. That actually doesn't mean that you necessarily have to leave Japan at the end of it. You can always extend. You can extend it, for example, extending your study. So let's say you come to Japan for 6 months or 1 year, you really enjoy life here and you think your Japanese level is not good enough. You want to extend it for 6 months more, you can do it. Or also you can, from language school, go to university, from language school, go to vocational school. Then also something you could do that help you to extend your student visa. The other question was if you need a diploma or transfer credits from country of origin, you need to be, you need to have finished high school in your country, yes. So you need to be able to show the diploma or like a proof that you finished high school. Depending on the country, of course, the documents may vary, but usually that's what immigration needs in order to give you the visa. However, because this is really case by case, we suggest you to inquire us, and depending on your country, the document you will have to provide may be a little bit different. So please let us know. But usually, yes, you need a diploma. Also, Mikogami5 asked if there is any chance to enter a vocational school in Japan without 12 years of education. Yes, so it really depends on the vocational school. That's something most of the people don't know. Some vocational schools in Japan require necessarily the 12 years of education in your country, some other not. Again, we can't really give you a long list of what of the schools that do and the schools that doesn't, the schools that don't. So please let us know your specific case, which school you would like to apply. where are you from, and then we can give you a better response. And then there was also Matty that on YouTube, actually in last week in the previous live, was asking how are the foreigners in Japan. I think we addressed this a little bit in previous live. The question is really generic. I think personally, I think people here that come from Western countries or other countries to study in Japan or live in Japan, work in Japan, usually have way much more like willingness of doing things or changing things. So we really feel this in the foreigners here. Personally, I have a lot of foreign friends here together with Japanese friends. It's really there is really an answer for like so generic that can cover everything. However, I would say that usually people that are here have this general strength and willingness of improving the life and trying to learning something new, putting themselves outside the boundaries of their normal life in their country in order to really grow up faster and learn new things. So guys, again, you can ask me questions from Facebook if you like. We are here in the Gogo Nihon office where every day we work here, so we would like also to show you a little bit what's a normal day in the office is, and so you can have a look of where we work every day. There is a question on Facebook here. I'm trying to open that up now. It was about scholarship. Let's see. There are two questions actually. Okay. Do some schools have scholarship? So regarding the scholarship, we have, for example, in our site, the university you can see in our site, TIU, offers scholarship for foreign students. It covers about 30% of the tuition fee. So we suggest you to inquire us in order to know how to apply, how to get the scholarship. Usually language schools don't offer scholarship at the very beginning. However, all the schools have some scholarship. Some schools offer more placements for the scholarship, some schools less, but they offer scholarship for good students that reach the top grade. So for example, students that go to school every day, so 100% of attendance rate plus top grades in the weekly or monthly assessments. Usually like in a school that is 1,000 students, maybe you have about 10 students that get a scholarship. So it's very difficult to get it. However, there are scholarships, and those scholarships also, the amount the school gives depend on the school. So they vary from 50,000 yen, which is about $500, to the double, which is about $1,000. So it really depends on the school. Again, guys, thank you very much for watching. We are here on Facebook Live, YouTube Live. This is Davide, CEO and co-founder of Gogo Nihon, and I'm here to answer you any questions regarding living and studying in Japan. So please ask me questions on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram, and I will be answering your question today. So Robert is asking, what would you recommend to do for work to get started living in Japan? Okay, that's a very good question, and I'm really happy to reply this question. So first of all, I suggest you, if you are thinking to come to Japan, let's say in April, from now, please start studying Japanese, even though you are still in your country. Every preparation you can make in terms of improving your language, it's key at this moment. And the reason is it's very simple, because let's say you start studying in April, you start from absolutely zero. It will take maybe 1 or 2 months for you to get to the level where you can be, you can be able to find a restaurant job or a teaching job, for example. You still need the minimum level of Japanese. However, if you do some preparation, you learn, for example, hiragana and katakana when you are in your country, the basic alphabets of Japanese, then you can save like 2-3 weeks, let's say, or even 1 month. So the time shorten a lot. And preparing for with language is something you can definitely do in your country before coming to Japan. We suggest all students to do that. And then what I also it's a very good question, because today we have one of our students, Tyler, which just has found a part-time job, and he will share his experience, and maybe he can give you some advice specifically for his case. One other thing I always advise people is that if you really want to work part-time, it's not just because you're in Japan that you're going to find a part-time job. If you really want to work part-time, you need to really be very proactive with it. So let's say you arrive in Japan again in April, you may need 1 week or 2 weeks to adjust to the time difference and understand how things work in Japan. But then even if just 1 month has passed, just start looking for it. And when I say look for it, I mean like send resume to many places possible, use job board websites, go to local go to restaurants in your area that also work for some of our students. Again, jobs that are very common to be found are in the food industry, so restaurant, bars, that's pretty easy to find. And also teaching. This is a little bit more competitive because the salary is also higher, but some of our students have been able to also work part-time, and in the next Ask Me Anything episodes, we are thinking to also invite them so they can share a little bit more about how is working part-time in, for example, English school or Italian schools and so on. Okay, I'm going to see if there are comments here. Let's see. I'm also going to ask David if he can send me comments from YouTube and Instagram as well, so I can see them easily. Okay. One other question that always people ask us is when is the deadline to apply, or when can I go and study in Japan? Well, that really depends on the deadlines that are set by the Japanese immigration. You can start as a student in Japan with a student visa. The student visa lets you work part-time. So if you want to work part-time in Japan, if you want to stay for more than 3 months, you need to apply for a student visa. The student visa, in order to apply for the student visa, you can apply 4 times a year: January, April, July, and October. However, the deadline usually is 4 or 5 months before those dates. So let's say you want to apply now for July 2017. The deadline is about mid of February, end of February. Again, the next term after July would be October 2017, and the deadline would be middle May of this year. So you always need to think about 4 or 5 months before the actual time you want to start in Japan. And again, January, April, July, and October are the 4 terms that you want to look to in order to be able to start with a student visa. On the other side, if you want to come and study for 3 months, 2 months, 1 month, or any shorter time, you can do any time. So depends on your country. Most of the countries have a 3 months visa exemption for Japan. That means you don't need to get any visa in order to be in Japan for 3 months or less. But again, it's not for all countries. So which country are you from in order to tell you if you are eligible for a 1 month, 2 months, or 3 months stay in Japan without any visa applications. Usually people from the US, Europe, Australia are able to come to Japan up to 3 months and study in the morning or just visiting the country without any visa. I'm going to your questions. So Hannibal is asking, if I apply for 1 year in Fukuoka, can I extend for other year, and do you have any map or pictures of the apartments that FFLC offers? So FFLC, Fukuoka Foreign Language College, is one of the schools on our site. So Hannibal is asking if he applies for 1 year in Fukuoka, can extend for another year? Yes. Actually, we suggest just apply for 1 year first. Probably you're going to have a great time, but you can decide later if extending the time in Japan or not. So absolutely no worries, that's possible. Regarding the map or pictures, yes, we have them. Please inquire your student coordinator and ask for that, because we can definitely send to you photos and the actual map of the dorm of the school. FFLC is a school in Fukuoka, the south part of Japan, that has also a dormitory. So students usually, at least at the beginning, they prefer to stay there because cut down the cost a lot. Some other questions from YouTube. Wayne Adams is asking, Hi Davide, hi Wayne. Which school would you recommend for a 31 years old looking to spend a year in Japan learning Japanese? Okay, I think the age here doesn't really matter that much. I came to Japan myself when I was 26, so it's usually the 80% of our students are between 18 to 25 years old, but the remaining 20% it's really from 26 up to 55. We actually had an Irish student that was 65, and he came here with a student visa 4 or 5 years ago. So it's really as much as you really want to go to Japan and learn the language and maybe challenge your life to the point where you go so far east in such a different country, the age doesn't really matter. Of course, people when they are 18, 20 are faster learners. They just because the way the human mind works. However, you could be a perfect student when you at that still young age of 31. I would like to know from you, Wayne, a little bit more about your purpose of studying. So besides the fact that you're 31, what's the reason why you learn Japanese? Is it because you want to go back to your country and use your Japanese at work in your country? You want to try to find employment in Japan? You would like to just travel around and learn some Japanese, but that's really, you want to have a lot of free time also to have fun in Japan, or what? So if you could tell me that a little bit, if you ask me now, if you give me this information now, I can get back to you. Arun is asking, I like to study game design, and which college is better? Is student visa available for Indians? So people from India, yes, they can get a student visa. However, the rules and the required documentation is a little bit different. There are a little bit more documents to provide. The reason is because that's what Japan immigration asks for. So it's not really Google Nihon, it's not really our decision. Japan immigration has different lists of documents depending also on the country. That's the way it is. However, for study game design, we suggest you Nihon Kogakuin, which you can see in our site. Actually, that school is one of the top schools that also Japanese people choose. It's not really a school that is only attended by foreigners. It's a vocational school, first of all, so you need to know Japanese first in order to enter the school. Every lesson is taught in Japanese, and that's why also many Japanese, I think 6,000 Japanese people are attending the school. We really suggest the school is one of the top vocational schools in Japan. So again, if you have just joined this live in the last few minutes, we are streaming in Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram from the Tokyo Gogo Nihon office. It's a pleasure to have you here today. I'm Davide, the CEO and co-founder of Gogo Nihon, and I'm here to answer you anything you would like to ask about living and studying in Japan. So please ask your questions on Facebook and YouTube and Instagram. We also, in about 10 minutes, we are going to have some guests here. We are going to have students that have attended our winter course that just ended last Sunday. So 2 students that have attended a 3 weeks course in Japan. And also we have one of our long-term students, Tyler, that has just found a part-time job, and he would like to share also his experience of coming to Japan, applying for a student visa, finding a part-time job. I will check your questions now. Let's see. Okay, Robert is asking again, with teaching English, do you need a credential from your home country, or can you get one in Japan? Okay, so teaching English in Japan is a little bit special in a sense. So you don't really need to have to be a professional English teacher in your country, and that also applies for other languages. Like I actually I was an Italian teacher 8 years ago when I came to Japan. One of the first part-time jobs I found, it was a part-time job as an Italian teacher, and I never experience of teaching Italian in my country before, and I don't have any certification. And that's also the same for many English teachers here. The reason is because the demand is higher than actual professional teachers living in Japan. So you have good chances just being native to be able to become a teacher. Of course, they're still going to look into how can you, how good you are in talking to people. I think, you know, there are some also soft skills, I would say, that you need to have to be a teacher. However, not certification is required, which is something that opens the door of being a teacher to many, many students that are in Japan. Okay, I'm checking also some other questions from YouTube now. Okay, Wayne is getting back to me. Thank you, Wayne. I'm taking a year to travel around Japan and will return to my own country, US, afterwards. I don't need Japanese for work, nor do I intend to work in Japan. Okay, so for example, in your case, I would suggest a school with medium or medium-low intensity. So in our site, we rate schools with intensity. The school that comes to the top of my mind right now is Shibuya Gaigo. However, I suggest you to see the school on our site, because each school has this rate from 1 to 5, where we say how much intense is the school. You definitely want to look into medium, medium-low, low, super low intensity for your purpose. Consider that lower is the intensity, more free time you have, less homeworks, so you have more time, you know, of course, to enjoy Japan, and but at the same time the study you do is less, so at the end of the year the amount of Japanese you learn will also be less. So we are 5 minutes away to calling in our guests, so please stay tuned a little bit longer, and then you can also ask questions to our guests. Thank you very much for watching. If you like this Ask Me Anything from the Tokyo Gogo Nihon office, please share this video, like it, let me know, let us know that you are enjoying it, and because, you know, more we see of you having fun watching it or finding this useful, and better is for us to do more of that. So please, guys, always let us know for any feedback. But I go back to the questions, because there are a lot of questions from YouTube. Animal is asking, there will be any updates soon in the webpage for new schools, specifically in Kyoto? Because I truly want to go to Kyoto, but there are only 2 options. Yes, the great news is that there is a new school coming up in Kyoto on our site in a few weeks. The school will be from the ISI group, and then you can easily find the school in a few weeks on the site. We are very excited about this. We always try to add new schools that, you know, we can offer our services for. However, it's always hard at the same time making sure that the school has the criteria we need to be partnering with them, because, you know, we put the Gogo Nihon logo, we make sure that the school has to have some, you know, enough criteria for us to be considered a great school to study. We want to make sure also you guys have a place where you're going to learn the best you can, and also you have, you know, great teachers, great people. So we always, you know, take an extra care in selecting schools. But a new school in Kyoto is coming, and will be on the site in a few weeks. So good news for you, Annibal. I'm going back to Facebook to see if there are any questions. Yes, there are 2 new questions. Marti is asking, Martin Garcia, could you explain what's the associate diploma the schools in Kansai College and Fukuoka Foreign Language College offers? Yes, so the associate diploma is associate diploma in Japanese language is a certificate that you can use to have the minimum legal requirements to find employment in Japan. That, of course, doesn't make sure that you will be able to work at that time. But however, if you, for example, don't have a degree in your country, you have only high school in your country, you have only a high school diploma, it's extremely difficult to find, to get a work visa in Japan. Even if you have a company that wants to hire you without degree in Japan or in your country, it could be very difficult to get a work visa. It's still possible, but it's extremely difficult. There are very few cases of students that were able to find employment with a high school diploma only. Again, there are cases, so it's not zero, but you want to be expecting like 50% chances or anything like that. With a degree, of course, you have everything you need. If you find an employer, then you get a visa 100%. On the flip side, if you have only high school, you want to stay in Japan, you want to maximize, you want to increase the chances of getting a work visa. At that point, you may choose one of the schools that is offering an associate diploma. That's because the associate diploma gives you the minimum requirements in order to get a work visa. So you have something that is true that is only valid in Japan. So this associate diploma any value outside Japan, but in Japan, when you have an employer that want to give you a visa, plus you have this associate diploma, they say, okay, he studied 2 years in this special type of school, he's got the associate diploma, we can give the visa. However, if you have only high school, maybe high chance of get rejected, even if you have an employer. So depending also again on your education, you may find valuable to get an associate diploma. Associate diploma, you must study necessarily 2 years to get it. So you can study 1 year and a half, 1 year and 9 months. You must think you need to complete the course for 2 years. But again, please ask us for any detail as something very important you want to know in particular. So I can't go too much in details about this right now, but if you inquire us, we can give you more information. There is one more question, actually 2 questions. With teaching English, do you need a credential from your home country? Or, no, we read this before. What kind of jobs can you find in Japan? From many. Thank you very much for the question. So of course, in Japan, a language student usually find one of those jobs. One is a job in the food industry, for example, waiter, or in a restaurant, or even working in the kitchen of a restaurant. That's because Japanese restaurant or the food industry in general, even bars, they really like to have a foreign waiter, waitress, or kitchen staff. Even though you haven't been a waiter in your country, again, I was never a waiter. I never done waiter job in my country. But when I came to Japan, I also did a part-time as a waiter for about 2 months at the beginning. You need a minimum level of Japanese. They don't really expect you to be fluent in Japanese. However, of course, you want to understand the basic, like getting order or greeting customers, like having a foreigner as a greet customers, and also able to get orders in English, maybe plus Japanese. It's something very valuable for them. So definitely the food industry, it's a common job to a job in the food industry is a common job to get. Second is teaching. There is a lot of demand for English teachers, but also language like Italian, Spanish, have French as well, have their possibilities. There is a little bit more competition compared to the food industry, just because the salary is a little bit higher. We're talking about from $20 to $30 per hour to maybe have a conversational English class. You're a teacher of a conversational English class. So there is a little bit more competition. And the third is actually everything that goes from modeling or to be part of a TV show as an audience. Again, this probably you're laughing right now. You think it's, I would never be modeling. I would never be an actor or an actress. However, it's actually not that rare that our students, maybe not as a career, they don't become, movie star in Japan. However, they have chance or opportunity to be in a TV show as a foreign opinion person, or they're just in the show as a just to bring some extra spice to the show. They actually can do shooting, modeling for 1 day, just really once in a while, once a month. Myself, again, this also happened to me. I was part of an audience several times. They used to call me once a month. They gave me, like, I think around $100 or something to be. It was 8 years ago, so I have some, my memory is not 100% clear on that. However, I was just sitting and clapping when I was supposed to clap, and all around me were foreigners. They wanted to have an audience of foreign people, and that's why you have this opportunity. It's also not rare for our students to be stopped in streets like Shibuya or Harajuku and be asked about a photo shooting just because they need some foreign face, Western face to be on some magazine. And again, I'm not saying that you have chances to start a career in modeling. Some of our students are actually have done it. However, there are opportunities to do job like that once or twice a month, and still pays really, really well because it's a per day or per hour job. So that's really a good addition to your monthly income from part-time jobs. Okay, guys, so it's 5:30. Again, we are here from the Tokyo Gogo Nihon office. We to shoot from here today, just to give you also a view of the place where we work every day. And now I would like you to know a little bit more about our study trips and in general what is living and studying in Japan, not necessarily for 1 year, 2 years, but also for 3 weeks, 4 weeks, not just as a tourist, but studying the language in the morning and participating to activities together with students from all over the world in the afternoon. Before I introduce our students, I would like you to call in our COO, Chris, that he can talk a little bit about the study trip and why those are a special place, a special activity, a special course to join in your, if you want to come to Japan. Okay, Chris? Okay. Hey, Chris?
How's it going?
Good. So, can you tell us a little bit more about study trips and why they are so special?
Sure. Okay. So basically, the study trips, the thing that's really special about the study trips is it's two different things. The first thing being you get to study the language. It's a short term, so there's really no long-term commitment here. For example, say if you've always wanted to come to Japan, but you didn't really know how to, so this is the perfect way to do it. You come to Japan for about 3 weeks. You take a language lesson in the morning, Monday through Friday, for about 3.5 hours. So you get a really basic idea of how Japanese works, so you can kind of use it. On the flip side, the other really good thing about the study trips is that you get to study with people from all over the world. We try to recruit students from all over the world. Not just native English-speaking students, but also from Italy, Sweden, all these different European countries, plus a lot of South American countries as well. And it's not just that. The social aspect is actually one of my favorite parts about the study trips, is that we run it so when you go to the activities in the afternoon, we invite a lot of Japanese locals to come and join the activities with you. So actually recently we did a Skytree activity. We went to Skytree. I was there. If you guys want to check it out, the video is live on Facebook. You guys can check it out. But yeah, all our students, we took them up to Skytree, and we actually brought local Japanese university students to go along with them. So it's a mix between the study and also the social aspect that you really don't get anywhere else. So that's why it makes the study trip so special, and we really hope that you sign up.
Great. Yeah, there are a few questions about, if you guys have any question about the study trip, you can ask Chris now, and also you can ask the students that are coming just after. So feel free to ask us any questions on Facebook. You said a lot of good things about the study trips, right? But if you really want to say one single thing that makes a difference, like just compared to people who maybe want to come to Japan for 3 weeks on holiday to choosing one of the study trip.
Okay.
What would you say? Like at the end of this, what stays more?
And this answer might be really personal, but I really enjoy the social aspect of our study trips. Is that when sometimes people go travel and they travel alone, they travel with a friend, they go through all these different sites. You see all of the big attractions, but you never really get to meet the people or people from other countries. And that's exactly what we offer. We really offer a social experience with a study attached to it. So I think that's the best part of our study trips. We really encourage people from all over the world to sign up, and also we encourage our students to really make friends with locals. So that's the best part.
What about age limits?
Okay, we actually have two different courses. We have a youth course, which is for students that are younger, between, I believe, 14 or 15 to 18. That's our Youth Japan course, sorry, until 17. And then for our other study trips, it's from 18 and above. So really, it doesn't really matter how old you are. You can still come, join us, and have a lot of fun.
Okay, and then what you're seeing now, guys, on screen is the promotional video we made about our study trips. It kind of summarize, some of the activities you do. As Chris was mentioning, like each study trip has a different theme. We can actually you can pick the course you like based on the theme. Like you really enjoy food in Japan. There is a course that we are very specific about good Japanese food. We also learn how to make sushi rolls and so on. If you're really into the otaku culture, there is a course I think in September that really goes deep. And a Pokemon Go course also is coming soon. Also, if you have only 1 month available for your holidays or your time, then of course you can always find a course available in that month. And so yes, I mean, thank you very much, Chris, for being here, and yeah, good luck with everything. Okay. So after that, I would like actually to call two of our winter course students that they can give us an idea of how the course actually was. So I think we will be back soon from the video, and first of all, guys, you can introduce yourself and you can describe a little bit about the course and what did you enjoy, what was good about it, and how was your experience in Japan?
Well, hello, my name's Anthony Bruce, I'm 22, I'm from Scotland, and really enjoyed the course.
That's fine. Hi, I'm Peter Smith. I'm 20 from Scotland as well, and I think we can both agree we've really loved it here. It's been
Yeah, fantastic. The course itself, the studying was really good. I didn't have much of background in knowing Japanese before, and I feel like I can at least have survival Japanese, at least.
Yeah, same. I have very little to none, but now the past 3 weeks I've learned so much. Teachers have been really helpful, and the locals have been really, really friendly. I mean, we had this is our last few days here. We've realised we bought far too many souvenirs, and to deliver, we've had to send stuff back by post. And again, post office may not be fluent in English, but we were still able to communicate in most ways and able to fill in forms and whatnot. And well, hopefully our stuff will get back home safe.
Yeah, you actually went to the post office today, right?
Yeah.
Because I was asking you before. So can you tell us how was it? Like, how much did you send and what did you send home?
Well, we sent home just a couple of souvenirs for some of our friends and their family, and post office itself, it was very efficient, I noticed, compared to back home.
Everything's very efficient here compared to back home.
They're also very helpful, even though our basic understanding of Japanese and their basic and more than basic understanding of English, they were able to help us get everything sorted out, and well, find out we will.
There was just 2 boxes, just mostly filled with souvenirs or just excess stuff that we're not going to be able to fit in our cases.
Okay. I'm already getting some questions from you guys. If you have questions for them, you can ask us and I will read for you. But I have one question. So the course ended, when did the course end? Like last Saturdays?
Well, the final event.
I think our final day is tomorrow.
Overall. No, the class tomorrow. Not really.
Okay, so tomorrow is the last day of
tomorrow is our
classes.
official last day.
Okay. Was a 3 weeks course. And what was the best activity or the best thing you've done in those 3 weeks in Japan?
All the activities were fantastic. The tea ceremony was fantastic, learning more about the Japanese culture and the history behind that. I enjoyed the sky tree as well. It was a beautiful view looking over. Karaoke, that was...
You loved the karaoke.
I love the karaoke.
I would say again, tea ceremony has been very interesting. With back home, all we know is mostly from video games based on history, researching stuff on the internet, and it's like so much stuff that we kind of knew, but at the same time, we didn't really know much. And then from the an hour and a half, we learned so much from how it used to be a really old traditional thing, more higher society would normally do it. Now modernizing, it's welcomed by everyone, and that's about it.
Okay. Then I'll go with some of the questions we got. So you are native English speakers. I mean, Scottish accent is really hard to understand.
Yes.
I don't know if it's English or not, but okay. Let's say for people that are not, Fernanda is asking, for people that are not 100% they're not native English speaker, or maybe their English is not that good. Would you still recommend this course? I know that in this course we also had students that were not from an English native speaking country, right? So they're not here unfortunately today because they were busy for the afternoon activities. However, could you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, I could definitely recommend a couple of times, a couple of our new friends who aren't native speakers. I've had not perfect English, but any locals who I've been about have been trying their best to help.
Yeah, definitely. I think how many of us are now? It's at least two.
Well, there's
I mean, we're
four of us, overall 7 in the group. 4 of us aren't native English. So far, they've only had a couple of problems, but that's just been slight miscommunication, and we've overall ended up being able to get where we're going, have a great time, make some new friends. But yeah, even if English isn't your native language, I'd definitely recommend this course 100%.
And I think it's a very good part of the course to be able to be with really people from all over the world and from different cultures. You know, you don't have only people from Scotland, or let's say from the UK or from Europe necessarily, but also South America. Sometimes we have students from Australia, also some Southeast Asia in the past. So that's also a great part. You don't only learn about Japanese culture and language, you also learn about the language and the culture of other countries, right? Because you spend 3 weeks, 4 weeks with them.
Yeah, well, like we found out in Argentina, they have a similar ceremony to the tea ceremony.
Oh,
between the
I didn't know
families
that.
with
Okay.
like a green tea, which is similar. Well, I didn't know that before.
No, I didn't either. Again, that's one of the great aspects about what. Not only do you learn about Japan as well, which is obviously your primary focus, but if you have other people from other countries, you get to share and tell other people about what it's like back home.
Okay, guys, thank you very much for being here. I'm sorry to taking away your very busy schedule. Your time in Japan is limited this time, but I'm sure you also will be back. And
Well, I'm planning on coming back.
My work allows it. I might be able to.
okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Very much.
And thank you very much also for asking so many questions. Again, we are here live from the Gogo Nihon Tokyo office, and we give you the chance to ask any questions you would like about living and studying in Japan, short term, long term. We have just interviewed 2 of our winter course students. They are short term. They stayed here and they studied for 3 weeks. Unfortunately, they will go back to Scotland soon. However, we have here one of our long-term students, Tyler, and I would like you to invite Tyler here as well. And again, you can ask any questions to him too. So any direct questions you would like to ask Tyler about his experience of coming to Japan as a long-term student, you can ask. First of all, I would like Tyler to introduce himself and telling us when did you come to Japan and how is life in Japan right now?
Yep. Hello, my name is Tyler Stone. I'm from Columbus, Ohio, America. I'm here for a year and a half on a long-term student visa, studying at Akamonkai Nihongo Gakko. I came here for the 2013 summer course, which I had gotten an interest in Japan and the Japanese language and culture from Japanese anime. And after graduating high school, my parents allowed me to do this 1-month summer trip as a graduation present. And I had the absolute best time of my life during that course. So I knew at the very end of it that I definitely wanted to come back. So after getting back home, I started college immediately. I think it was the day after I got home, I started college, and I rushed through a 4-year computer science degree in 2 weeks less than 3 years, and then just a few weeks after graduating college, I had already been planning for months to come back here. So I have been here for 4 months now. I got here beginning of October 2016, and I would say the first probably 2 months was very normal. I lived at the school dormitory. I studied in the mornings and then just kind of explored in the afternoons. And then after about a month, I started looking for a job and having to start dealing with trying to find a means of making my own money and kind of getting more settled down here in Japan. And actually, what I did was I just went to Craigslist and mass applied for like a dozen, whatever the first jobs on the like general jobs category were. And in the first like 2 days, I had gotten 3 responses for an interview. And actually, funny a story. That Monday after I applied, I got a call from a factory job wanting me to start the next day.
Okay, so it was of course you had to really like massively apply to several jobs. You don't want to apply to one job and maybe wait 2
Right.
weeks and then maybe apply another job. You know, the best thing is really like, which was my experience to apply to several jobs, like one restaurant job, or you know, like one teaching job, or anything that you think it could suit you, you would like to do, but from the beginning at the same time, and then see what you can get. And from our experience now, from our experience at Google Nihon with the students that are in Japan now, it's easier now than it was like maybe 5-6 years ago when I, you know, when we started, maybe 8 years ago when we started, but even 4 years ago it was not as easy as it now. Now it's way much more common for students to find a part-time job at the beginning. And then could you share us, because unfortunately the time is a little bit, we have 10 minutes to the end of the live. So what I would like to know is specifically like the job you found, you know, how it was working for I was been working in a Japanese company, how I was been working in Japan. Tell me a little bit more about this experience.
Right. So actually, I worked for that job for 3 days, and then decided to try for the one of the other jobs that I had originally gotten reply for. So that job was a cleaning job, and I liked that one much better. It was essentially just cleaning, getting guests ready for a company that assists in Airbnb rentals. So I spent probably 2 months as a cleaner, and then about halfway through that point, they had actually they were looking for a software development intern, which perfectly matched my degree. So
you actually, like the same company, you found a job, you found this position available.
Right. Yeah. So it was like part networking, part like I after I had got the job, since it was only for weekends, I was still looking on Craigslist, and I happened to see one for a software development intern, and I clicked on it, and I was shocked to see the company that I work for was the one who actually had the ad. So
same company. So you were already working there.
Right.
You got a cleaning job, but then they were also looking for a intern for a software engineer or like IT networking, right?
Yeah. So I asked my boss, like, hey, I saw this. and she said that she would talk to her boss, and then like 3-4 days later, I was a software engineering
Okay.
intern.
So now that's what you're doing now.
Yeah.
How many days a week you work? Can you tell us?
All 5. Actually, as compensation, they actually gave me a room in the office. So my accommodation is now a room in the my office, which
Okay.
is it's a very small business.
Okay.
So
Okay, but it's a great way to start. You just came here in October, right?
Right.
Which is 3 months ago. It's January now, so
Right.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Let me see. There are a few questions. Let me see if I can grab one of them. Like I think Man is asking something that is also related to you. Do you think this type of short study, because you came here as a study trip student in 2013, and then
Right.
you applied for a long-term visa in 2016, and you started in October. So
Right.
the question Man is asking, do you think this type of short study trips could become the foundation for starting a new life in Japan?
Oh yeah, definitely. That initial experience was absolutely life changing. So and it was at the end of that experience, just the initial taste of like what life was actually like here was definitely the hook that never, or because the entire 3 years that I was at college, like I had never lost the desire to want to come back to Japan.
Okay, so that was also like an eye opener, because you may think, you really want to go to Japan, but then when you're actually here, you understand how much you really like it, how much it's good for you, and
Right.
then you had to go back because that was you had a college to finish, so you had to go back. But during the time you were back in America, you always thought about you will be back, and that's the time is now.
Right, and I think a lot of people like they kind of romanticize like the initial desire to want to come to Japan, but I think there are a lot of things here that like you really can't understand or comprehend unless you're actually here and you experience it for yourself.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Tyler. Thank
Yep.
you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, it's exactly what we always say. Being in Japan with a short trip, of course, being in Japan with a long-term visa give you a real understanding on how is life here. If you may think about I always want to go to Japan, I always want to live in Japan, but when you're here, you really understand how things are. So that was a really great advice. We have only a few minutes here. I would like you to just catch up with the questions that you guys were asking. So make sure to reply all of them if I can. I will be going pretty fast. Dennis is asking if there are dorms available. Yes, some of the schools we partner with have dorms available. Paolo is asking how many times in a row Japan usually allow people getting into the country with 3 months tourist visa. Okay, so there is no rule set otherwise. However, because this is a tourist visa, of course you should be visiting Japan, you should be enjoying Japan, visiting Japan, so you should not do, for example, you stay in Japan for 3 months, you go out one day, you come back for 3 months, you go out one day, you come back for 3 months, because that's really not tourism anymore at some point. Doesn't matter how much you love traveling in Japan or visiting Japan. If you stay continuously 1 year, they may start thinking that you're actually living in Japan. So you need a different type of visa. That's why they may actually inquire you at immigration and so on. From our understanding is that if you people that really want to extend the time they have on their tourist visa, you may leave once and then come back and then other 3 months without any problem. But again, if you do this more than once, you may be inquired and you may have some issues. So we don't advise you to do that many times. Then Danielle is asking, I've been wanting to go to Japan, but I don't know any Japanese, and I like to learn some before I go. What would you recommend is the easiest and fun way to learn some Japanese before I go to Japan? Okay, there are so many ways right now to learn Japanese. There are many websites for online learning. There actually usually, I don't know which country or city are you from. Usually there are local language schools that are good. There may be a Japanese teacher or like a native teacher there, or someone that has lived studying in Japan that is back to the country and can teach you at the school. We think really like having the chance to learn face to face with a teacher or in a class is the best way. So if you have that opportunity, is great. Otherwise, you can find on an online website. It's better than nothing for sure. We suggest you before coming to Japan at least to learn hiragana and katakana. That's very, very important, because if you don't know at all hiragana and katakana, plus you never touch any book, you don't know anything about Japanese, you can still learn, of course, in Japan, especially if you study every day, but the first few weeks will be extremely tough. And hiragana and katakana you can study by yourself. You can download any hiragana and katakana charts, start practicing, see if you can remember. You can download like flashcards with hiragana and katakana. There is, for example, an application called Anki Dex that really helps you with that. You can download the flashcard for every hiragana and katakana in this Anki Dex flashcard app, and then you can flip the card to see if you remember or not and play with it. But these kind of systems of flashcards are really common. They're probably going to be like 10 different types, and they're all good and very similar each other. Okay, I think we have replied most of the questions. We have Van Griffith, did Gogo Nihon help to find a job besides study? So we don't actively help finding jobs. At the moment we have, so we don't actively help to find job in the sense we don't really introduce job as, for example, a job agency could do. Otherwise, what we usually give to our students is a list of websites for you guys to check. Tyler mentioned Craigslist. It's where, Tyler, right? You find all the job openings and you apply to several jobs at the same time. That's the best advice ever. I think that a student could give to another student is to really be very proactive. Go to Craigslist, go to all those websites that jobs in Japan, part-time jobs in Japan, jobs for students in Japan, all those websites that give you openings, and just apply to everything that you think it's good for you, especially if you want to find something soon. I think the best way is really proceeding like that. We have actually openings in Gogo Nihon right now, part-time and full-time, so everyone can check our site and let us know if you think you are a great match for any of those positions. Absolutely. And yeah, so we don't help you directly, but we give you a list of places you can search to find a part-time job while you're in Japan. And also schools help with that. Most of the schools we partner with, they have a person in charge or even a small team of people that help students to find part-time jobs. Some of the schools also help students to find full-time jobs when they graduate. So that's also something you wanna look into. Maybe ask us which school is better, or which school you recommend if I want to work full-time after I graduate from the school, or which school is better if I really want to start working part-time ASAP. Don't forget that when you come to study in Japan with a student visa, you can start working part-time from the very first day. So you land February 3rd, you can start working from February 3rd. You get the permission when you arrive in Japan. That's also very, very good. And you can work up to 28 hours per week. Then Van Griffith also asking, is it possible for people from Eastern Europe to apply for long-term study with Gogo Nihon? Yes, absolutely. Again, depending on your country, we're going to tell you what's the exact procedure for you to apply, what are the documents that Japan immigration requires, but no problem. Please let us know, and we will be very happy to give you the information. Declan is asking, how easy is to get a job at Eikawa or Juku without teaching experience? Again, if you have teaching experience, if you are a certified teacher, if you've been teaching in your country for X years, I think that's a huge plus, because very few Eikaiwa, which means English Conversation School, English Conversation, Eikaiwa School, every Eikaiwa would like to hire you, because most of the students at most of the Eikaiwa teacher, actually they didn't have a certification before. And that's just because, you know, there is so much demand, so many Japanese want to learn English, there are so many schools right now, and it's not that difficult to find an English teaching job if you are a native English speaker. That's pretty common for our students as well. So I think we are done with questions, and we have almost run out of time. I'm gonna have a quick look if there is one last minute question. Let's see. I think it's okay. So I hope you enjoyed the second live streaming from the Gogo Nihon Tokyo office. We try really with this weekly event, with this weekly streaming, we try to give you the chance, first of all, to ask us questions, and also give you the information you need to make better choices in when you're thinking about living and studying in Japan. If you wanna, you know, you're gonna have this streaming again next week, and if you have missed this one and you're watching the recorded video, you can ask us questions during the live, and we will try our best to reply to you. If you enjoyed this video, please guys share it on Facebook or YouTube and like it. We would really like to know if you enjoyed it, because, you know, we're gonna, of course, we like doing it. However, if we see that you also are enjoying it, we can do more, we can put even more effort, and we can try to improve the live. So let us know if anything you would like to see, or anything you would like us to improve. Again, it was a pleasure. This is Davide with Gogo Nihon, and I'm gonna ask David to, you know, cut the stream anytime, because we need to close it right now. And it was very nice to see you, and I'll see you next week. Bye.